Hi, this is Steve. I recently saw a very poor quality discussion on YouTube about the social media phenomena that is Russell Brand. He's got 6 million subscribers to his YouTube channel, for example, so he is a social media phenomena. The link is in the description to the discussion, but the first half of this 20-minute video would tell you all you need to know. So, it's a discussion by two blokes who, by their own admission, have only a partial knowledge of their subject, Russell Brand. That's never going to be very good. I watch a lot of Brand's stuff because he tells the truth about a lot of the hypocrisy and corruption in our society. However, his solutions, as far as they can be made out, he's very short on detail, seems to me a veiled form of localized communism. The vision seems to be rather like the small colonies set up by the Pilgrim Fathers, each doing their own thing and cooperating with others only when forced to for trade, but being politically, totally or very largely autonomous. A sort of series of self-determining, somewhat insular kibbutz-style cooperatives, essentially. He sees only a small or limited role for the larger state. So it seems to be a strange mix of small communal communism and right-wing small state ideas. But what I think Brand fails to grasp are the problems of scale. Forms of organization that work for a single family unit or very small group of like-minded folk simply do not scale up in a satisfactory, let alone utopian way. And Brand's vision is utopian. Utopians are always high on ideals, short on practical implementation details, as evidenced by the mass murders and misery inflicted on hundreds of millions around the globe by utopian dictators in the 20th century. Utopianism always leads you to tyranny, because it has to be enforced on anyone whose own utopian vision is, in any way, different to yours. History shows us this continually. The more people involved, the greater the likelihood of unhappiness, leading to disagreement, dissent, argument, frustration, and eventually violence of one form or another, followed by imposition of their will by the victors. Brand's social organization vision is, therefore, naive, utopian, wishful thinking. So I like Brand for his fearlessness in pointing out many of the problems and corruptions of our system, but I can see through his flimsy, impractical, and therefore unworkable utopian solution. It is possible to listen to a viewpoint and both see the good points and the bad, as opposed to insisting that a view, whether from an individual, an organization, a newspaper, say, or a political party, are entirely and always right, or entirely and always wrong. Nuance is the friend of fairness and reasonableness, and the enemy of tribalism and coercion. Okay, so what would I do? Well, my solution would involve recognizing three things. Firstly, that the best size of political unit that has any meaningful chance of giving people a say in how it's run, while also giving them the organizational benefits and securities of scale, is the nation state. Any smaller, and you lose the benefits of organizational scale and security. Can you imagine trying to organize electricity or water supplies or sewerage, let alone defense and food distribution for each small group of like-minded people on a localized individual group basis? But anything bigger than the nation state and any meaningful say for each individual in how they're governed is lost. You become, in effect, a helpless, disempowered slave of the mega-state with no political agency. The second thing to realize is that the best political system is representative democracy. But our current system needs reforming. I would scrap political parties. All candidates to be MPs must run as independents and have to do a large number of hustings in their area explaining their personal views on the important issues. Political parties are a corrupting influence since they are not only encouraging of, but actively insist upon a closed-minded tribal approach. The Prime Minister would then be chosen by a free vote of these elected independent MPs. We also need to enhance and increase democratic involvement. Make it more frequent and more meaningful by having referenda on all major socio-economic change and all major local changes too, as they do in Switzerland, for example. Yes, the criteria would have to be carefully thought through and may need tweaking over the years, but the principle of more frequent plebiscites, more frequent asking the people what they want in any given situation, as opposed to the 5-yearly electing of a dictatorship we have now, would be a distinct improvement. And thirdly, we need to recognize that the best economic system is capitalism. Just look at the decrease in global poverty and the increase in global GDP per capita over the last 70 years. So capitalism, yes, but not the crony corporatist capitalism we have now. Instead, a stewardship form of capitalism, not a maximizing profit form. So stewardship capitalism would be, for example, where companies forego some of the possible profit they could make in order to maintain services and jobs in local communities, where companies have as much a duty to the community, to society as a whole, as they do to their shareholders. So profitable, yes, but not greedily so. In stewardship capitalism, for example, the large banks would not be allowed to pull out of market towns until the customer traffic was very much smaller than when they do now. Now, some may say that this is no more workable than Brand's utopianism, but I'm sorry, that's nonsense. For a start, my model is not utopian. It's far more pragmatic and compromising than any utopian would be. Of course, the devil is always in the detail, that's true. But my method maintains and/or improves the current state of things. It maintains the nation state. It enhances the democratic political process and improves the current economic system without throwing the baby out with the bathwater and causing huge strife, which so many utopian systems do. Thanks for listening.